What if I told you that the result you've been waiting months, maybe years to see, can begin to unfold in the next 24 hours? Not by luck, not by chance, but by activating a power inside you that has been silently shaping your life from the moment you were born. The next 24 hours can become the most transformative period of your life if you understand how your mind responds to the images and commands you plant within it. Your life can shift in extraordinary ways the moment you decide to align your inner world with the outcome you seek. There is a law working within you, a law that never sleeps, never questions, and never fails. It takes every idea you impress upon it and brings it into expression, sometimes with astonishing speed. When people say it takes time, what they truly mean is that their belief takes time. But the mind itself does not operate on the calendar. It operates on conviction, certainty, and the emotional intensity of your inner picture. That is why the moment you reshape your belief, the outer world begins to reorganize itself around your new mental image. This is why results can begin in 24 hours. Your subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever seed you drop into it with feeling, it will cause to grow. If you plant doubt, you reap delay. If you plant fear, you reap confusion. But if you plant clarity, if you plant the picture of what you desire is already done, you initiate a process that begins immediately, sometimes producing visible signs within a single day. Right now, as you listen, your mind is being impressed with new possibilities. The first sign of transformation is not the result itself, it is the feeling of certainty rising within you. That feeling is the blueprint of what is to come. When the inner feeling stabilizes, the outer result appears. The reason results can appear so quickly is because the change happens first in consciousness, not in physical reality. Physical reality merely reflects the state of your inner belief. When you shift the cause, the effect must follow. Nothing can prevent it, because you are working with universal law. To activate this power, within the next 24 hours, you must do 3 things. Decide clearly what you want. Ambiguity dissolves power. Assume the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. Feeling is the secret doorway. Let go of the how. Your mind knows pathways you cannot even imagine. Say to yourself, it is done. It is happening now. The universe rearranges itself for my good. When you affirm this with faith, something remarkable begins. The subconscious mind moves people, circumstances, events, and ideas into your path. You meet the right person. You receive the unexpected call. You get the clarity you were praying for. You feel the shift in the unseen before it reveals itself in the seen. Every great transformation begins with one decision: to believe that what you desire is already yours. When you believe it, your subconscious mind acts instantly. Not tomorrow, not someday, instantly. The next 24 hours become the evidence of a new belief planted today. You may receive a sign, an opportunity, a message, a solution, or a breakthrough. Do not analyze it, receive it. This is the universe whispering, you have been heard. Your life responds to your inner conviction. And when you declare, with confidence, that the result is already on its way, the universe must obey the command of your faith. So stand in this truth. My results are not limited by time. My results are limited only by my belief. And today I choose certainty. When you set a clear intention, you activate one of the most powerful forces within your mind, a force that begins working instantly the moment you decide exactly what you want. Most people drift from one desire to another, never fully settling on a single direction, and as a result, their subconscious receives mixed signals. A scattered mind produces scattered outcomes. But the moment you choose with certainty, the moment you say within yourself, this is what I desire, and this is what I accept, your subconscious mind receives a precise command. It no longer guesses. It no longer wanders. It moves with purpose. A clear intention is like shining a bright beam of light through fog. The moment the image becomes sharp, the path forward becomes illuminated. Your subconscious does not respond to confusion. It responds to clarity. It responds to definiteness. The clearer the intention, the quicker the response. This clarity becomes a blueprint. Imagine an architect who hands over an unfinished sketch to a builder. The result will be hesitation, questions, delays. But if the same architect hands over a detailed, precise plan, the builder begins immediately. Your subconscious mind works exactly the same way. It requires a mental blueprint, an inner picture, to begin constructing the outer reality. When your intention is sharp, the subconscious accepts it as truth and begins arranging the internal and external conditions that align with that truth. It does not need time to contemplate. The response begins the moment the intention is defined. This is why people who are decisive often experience faster results. Clarity creates emotional alignment. When you know what you want, your emotions begin to match the picture. You feel the intention. You think about it with focus. You imagine it with detail. This emotional alignment is the signal that the subconscious listens to most closely. The language of the subconscious is not words. It is feeling. A clear intention produces a clear emotional state, and this emotional state is what activates the inner power. When the feeling and the intention match, the subconscious moves immediately. That is why people say, once I finally made up my mind, everything started happening at once. This is not coincidence. This is law. A clear intention also eliminates inner conflict. So many people want something, yet at the same time carry doubts, fears, and contradictory thoughts. They want success but fear failure. They want love but fear rejection. They want abundance but believe it is scarce. These contradictions send mixed instructions to the subconscious, which then delays the result because it does not have a coherent command. But when you purify your intention, removing the doubts, removing the internal noise, removing the maybe and replacing it with yes, the mind becomes a unified force. And a unified mind manifests rapidly. Clarity sharpens imagination. When you know exactly what you desire, the images in your mind become vivid. You see yourself having it, living it, experiencing it. Imagination is the creative workshop of the subconscious. When the pictures become clear, the subconscious treats those pictures as reality. It does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. The clearer the picture, the stronger the impression. The stronger the impression, the faster the subconscious responds. This is why even a single moment of deep, clear intention can outweigh months of vague desire. A clear intention also removes the habit of procrastination. When your desire is precise, your mind no longer hesitates. The natural tendency becomes movement. You feel guided. You feel inspired. Ideas flow. Opportunities appear. You take the right steps at the right time without forcing anything. This is because the subconscious begins directing your thoughts and actions in a harmonious way. You feel pulled instead of pushed. That pull is the inner response to clarity. When you concentrate your intention like a laser, everything unrelated begins to fall away. Distractions lose power. Fear loses influence. Doubt loses its voice. A single intention held clearly in the mind begins to reshape your perception. You start noticing signs, possibilities, resources, and connections that were invisible before. Your mind becomes selective, absorbing only what aligns with the intention you set. This selective focus accelerates manifestation because every part of your awareness begins working in the same direction. A clear intention creates inner certainty, and certainty is the magnet of manifestation. The moment you declare with conviction what you want, your subconscious begins drawing the people, events, and circumstances that correspond to that certainty. This inner certainty communicates to the subconscious that the desire is not some distant wish, it is a present expectation. And the subconscious always moves fastest when the mind carries expectation. When you expect something, your energy aligns. When your energy aligns, your reality shifts. Clarity also eliminates fear of alternatives. Many people fail to manifest because they hold multiple conflicting desires in their mind at the same time. They fear choosing one path because it means letting go of another. But clarity requires commitment. When you commit to a single intention, your subconscious commits with you. It devotes all its resources to the fulfillment of that intention. Without that commitment, the mind remains divided, and manifestation slows. With it, manifestation accelerates because all inner power flows in one direction. A clear intention taps directly into the creative power of the universe. The universe itself moves according to intention. Every outcome begins with a directed force. When your intention is strong, you align yourself with this universal creative flow. You become a co-creator rather than a passive observer. And because universal law responds immediately to precise thought, The moment your intention becomes definite, the universal current begins shifting around you. This shift may appear subtle at first, a thought, a message, a sign, an idea, but it is the beginning of the manifestation process that unfolds more quickly with each moment of maintained clarity. When you understand that clarity is not only mental but emotional, imaginative, and energetic, you realize why the subconscious responds instantly. It is not waiting for time, it is waiting for precision. The moment you give it a clear instruction, it begins moving. And because your inner world is the true origin of your outer world, that movement is what initiates results that can begin unfolding within hours, sometimes even minutes. Once the intention is established with conviction, feeling the result as already done is the most direct pathway to rapid manifestation, because the subconscious mind does not operate on future tense, it operates on present reality. Whatever you feel deeply and consistently, it accepts as truth and immediately begins arranging your world to match that inner state. When you feel something is already accomplished, you bypass the limitations of time and step into the vibration of completion. This shifts your inner frequency from wanting to having, from longing to possessing, from hoping to knowing. The subconscious responds not to what you wish for, but to what you emotionally claim. The moment you claim a result internally, the outer world begins aligning with that internal claim. To feel the result is already done is to embody the emotional signature of success before you see it. This emotional signature becomes the invisible magnet that draws circumstances toward you. Imagine a person who desires healing but continues to feel sick, weak, and discouraged. Their emotional state is contradicting the very state they wish to achieve. But when they begin to feel the vitality, the strength, and the wholeness of the healed version of themselves, their subconscious receives a new command. It accepts this new feeling as truth and begins directing the body toward equilibrium. The same principle applies to finances, relationships, career breakthroughs, and any desired outcome. Feeling creates form. Emotion shapes destiny. When you imagine the result as finished, and you feel the joy, relief, gratitude, or confidence that naturally accompanies that result, your subconscious cannot distinguish between the mental experience and the physical one. It responds as though the result is happening right now. This is why some people achieve breakthroughs seemingly overnight. Not because they are lucky, but because they learn to generate internally the same emotional state they would experience if their desire were already fulfilled. They live in the feeling of completion instead of the feeling of desire. Many people delay manifestation because they stay emotionally stuck in wanting. Wanting carries a vibration of lack. It signals the subconscious that the thing desired is absent. The more strongly a person feels the absence, the more the subconscious reinforces circumstances that mirror that absence. But when a person shifts from wanting to embodying, from desire to fulfillment, they align themselves with the vibration of having. In this state, the subconscious begins orchestrating opportunities, connections, insights, and coincidences that reflect the new inner assumption. Feeling the result is already done also dissolves internal resistance. Resistance is born from doubt, fear, and uncertainty. When you emotionally live in the end state, resistance cannot survive because there is no room for contradiction. Your feelings override your doubts. Your inner certainty becomes stronger than the external evidence. You begin to trust the unseen more than the seen. And as soon as trust becomes the dominant emotional state, the subconscious accelerates the process of manifestation. It works without friction, without delay, without interference. When you feel the result is done, you communicate with the subconscious in its native language. The subconscious does not interpret logic, arguments, or long explanations. It interprets sensation, imagery, and emotion. This is why a single feeling can accomplish what months of effort cannot. You could spend hours thinking about a desire, but if your feelings contradict your thoughts, the subconscious follows the feelings. Likewise, you could think about obstacles, but if your feelings are rooted in fulfillment, the subconscious pays attention to the feeling and brings forth results that match it. Feeling is the master key. Feeling the result as already done changes your physiology, your posture, your tone, your energy, and your perception. Everything about you begins to shift into the frequency of fulfillment. You think differently, speak differently, and act differently. These subtle inner shifts create ripples in the invisible field around you, drawing matching experiences toward you. Your environment begins to echo your internal state. People respond to you differently. Opportunities gravitate toward you. You become aligned with what you once chased. When your feelings match the outcome you seek, your intuition becomes sharper. You receive ideas that fit the desire. You feel nudged toward certain decisions. You sense the right moment to act. You pick up on signals that others overlook. This heightened intuition is not random. It is a product of inner alignment. The subconscious mind communicates through intuition. And when you feel the result is done, the subconscious begins guiding you step by step toward the physical manifestation of that result. Feeling the result is already done dissolves the illusion of time. Time is only a barrier for the logical mind. The subconscious mind exists in a timeless realm where everything is now. When you feel the fulfillment emotionally in the present moment, the subconscious accepts that the result already exists. Physical reality begins to reorganize to match this timeless truth. This is why manifestations can appear suddenly, unexpectedly, and dramatically. The inner shift precedes the outer expression, and once the inner shift is complete, the outer expression must follow. The feeling of fulfillment also activates the power of gratitude. Gratitude is the emotional state that signals completion. When you are grateful for something, you are acknowledging that it is already yours. Gratitude strengthens the impression on the subconscious because it confirms ownership. When you feel grateful for the outcome before it appears, you accelerate its arrival. You release all tension, all fear, all waiting. Gratitude is the emotional proof of faith, and where faith exists, manifestation follows swiftly. When you persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you build momentum. Each time you return to the feeling, the subconscious impression deepens. The mental picture becomes clearer. The emotional state becomes more familiar. Eventually, the feeling becomes your natural vibration. At that moment, manifestation becomes inevitable because the subconscious can no longer support a reality that contradicts your dominant feeling. The outer world must shift to match the inner experience. Feeling the result, as already done, is not imagination alone. It is embodiment. It is stepping into the identity of the person who already possesses what you desire. Identity is the strongest force in the subconscious mind. When you feel the outcome as part of your identity, the subconscious transforms your behavior, your expectations, and your circumstances to match that identity. Life begins to mirror the way you feel about yourself. This inner embodiment is what allows results to appear quickly. You no longer wait for change. You become the change internally. And the moment you become it inside, the outside responds with equal speed. Emotional alignment is the signal that transforms desire into reality, because emotion is the energetic language of the subconscious mind. While thoughts shape the direction of your intention, it is emotion that supplies the power. Without emotion, thoughts remain weak impressions that dissolve before they can take root. But when emotion and intention merge, they form a complete command that the subconscious accepts immediately. Emotional alignment means your feelings match the outcome you seek. It means that internally, you inhabit the state of fulfillment so deeply that there is no emotional contradiction left within you. When your feelings and your desires stand in harmony, you become a vibrational match to the very thing you want, and the universe responds to that match with precision. Most people desire one thing but feel something entirely different. They desire abundance, yet feel scarcity. They desire love, yet feel unworthy. They desire health, yet feel fear. This emotional discord sends mixed instructions to the subconscious. The desire says yes, but the emotion says no. And the subconscious always obeys the dominant emotion because emotion is the louder, clearer signal. That is why a person can affirm positive statements all day. But if their emotional state contradicts their words, the subconscious follows the emotion. Emotional alignment reverses this contradiction by bringing your inner state into agreement with your desired outcome. When the inner state shifts, the outer world must eventually follow. To achieve emotional alignment, you begin by identifying how you would feel if your desire were already fulfilled. Would you feel relief, joy, confidence, gratitude, freedom, or peace? These feelings are the emotional frequency of the result. When you generate these feelings consciously, You begin broadcasting the same signal the fulfilled version of you would emit. The subconscious interprets this emotional frequency as present reality. It does not wait for physical evidence. It works from the inner state alone. When you consistently feel the emotions of fulfillment, you bypass the delays that occur when your feelings contradict your intention. You begin to live internally in the state of your desire, and this internal living creates external alignment. Emotional alignment amplifies the power of your mental imagery. When you visualize your desired outcome with powerful emotion, the image becomes vivid, alive, and deeply imprinted on the subconscious. Emotion gives the mental picture depth. It adds dimension. It injects life into the imagination. A mental picture with no emotion is like a photograph, it is flat. But a mental picture with emotion is like a moving scene. It feels real. And the subconscious always responds to what feels real. The stronger the emotional charge behind your visualization, the more quickly the subconscious begins creating circumstances that reflect that image. Emotional alignment also eliminates the sense of struggle. When you are emotionally aligned with your desire, you no longer feel like you are chasing something outside of you. You feel as though you are meeting something that is already on its way. You feel carried by an inner current rather than pushing against resistance. This shift from force to flow is one of the most important aspects of manifestation. When you feel aligned, you no longer work against yourself. Your inner world becomes a unified field where intention, feeling, and belief point in the same direction. This unity accelerates results because there is no friction within you. When you achieve emotional alignment, your behavior naturally transforms. You begin making choices that support your desire because you feel like the person who already has it. You act from the emotional state of success rather than seeking it from the outside. This inner confidence leads you to take inspired actions at the right time. Inspired actions arise naturally when your emotions and desires are aligned. They are not forced, anxious, or desperate. They emerge effortlessly because your subconscious is guiding you toward the path of least resistance. Emotional alignment opens the channel through which this guidance flows. Another powerful effect of emotional alignment is the way it changes your perception of life. When your emotions match your desired outcome, your mind begins to recognize opportunities, signs, and possibilities that were always around you but hidden from your awareness. Emotional alignment sharpens your intuition and expands your perceptual field. You start noticing things you previously overlooked. A conversation, an idea, a chance encounter, a simple moment of clarity, all begin to appear as steps on your path. They were always there, but only emotional alignment made them visible. The subconscious reveals to you the parts of reality that align with your emotional state. Emotional alignment also stabilizes your vibration. When your emotions are aligned with your desire, you no longer swing back and forth between hope and doubt, faith and fear, confidence and hesitation. You develop a steady emotional baseline that matches the life you want to create. This stability is crucial because inconsistent emotions lead to inconsistent results. The subconscious mind responds most powerfully to sustained emotional states. A single moment of alignment can initiate movement, but sustained alignment creates momentum. And momentum is what transforms small changes into major breakthroughs. When you feel aligned emotionally, your energy communicates your intention even without words. People respond to you differently. Circumstances unfold more smoothly. Doors open unexpectedly. This is because emotional alignment emits a coherent signal into the unseen field around you. That signal influences the timing, flow, and direction of external events. The universe reflects your emotional vibration. When you radiate fulfillment, fulfillment moves toward you. When you radiate confidence, opportunities reveal themselves. Emotional alignment is like tuning a radio to a specific frequency. Once the tuning is correct, you receive the broadcast clearly and without distortion. Another important aspect of emotional alignment is the way it neutralizes fear. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to manifestation because it creates a vibrational contradiction. When fear is present, the subconscious interprets that fear as a dominant signal. But when you generate the emotional state of your fulfilled desire, fear loses its influence. Gratitude, confidence, joy, and inner peace are incompatible with fear. They replace it, they override it, they weaken its power. When the emotional frequency of fulfillment becomes stronger than the frequency of fear, Your subconscious accepts the new emotional state as your truth. Once that happens, manifestation accelerates dramatically. Emotional alignment is not about forcing feelings, but allowing them. It is about tuning into the version of yourself that already lives in the reality you desire. This version of you already exists in imagination, and imagination is the realm where the subconscious receives its instructions. When you allow yourself to feel the emotions of that version of you, its ease, its relief, its calm, its gratitude, your subconscious begins to shift your identity. You no longer feel like someone who is waiting for change. You feel like someone who is living in the vibration of that change. The subconscious then brings you the experiences that align with your identity. When you understand emotional alignment, you realize that the true work of manifestation happens within. You do not need to manipulate circumstances or force outcomes. You only need to create within yourself the emotional climate that reflects the life you desire. Once that climate stabilizes, the outer world must adjust itself to match your inner state. Emotional alignment is the bridge between thought and reality, between desire and fulfillment, between imagination and creation. It is the inner signature that signals to the universe that the result is already yours.